Yeah, good.
Oh, yeah. PT this morning. Loosening me up.
Ready to go.
I'm freezing my shoulder. Yeah.
Lisa, you all set?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is approval of the minutes, and I understand
He's
there's
on. That's on.
some discussion. So who'd like to start off the discussion on the minutes, since I wasn't here?
I'll do the easy one. On the attendance, you have both as absent and attendance.
So that's how I,
And I showed that to Lisa before.
it's the ghost of me.
Man of many faces.
All right, anything else? Apparently,
Yes.
Yes.
according to Mike, we need to add,
Yeah, there was one motion you guys made on the camera server for the
Yes.
PD. Do you have that language, Lisa? Because I can read it.
But I gave it to
well, we had that motion on the meeting before,
You did give it to me.
in July. Because I wasn't here on the.
Oh, I have
I
it.
remember
I have
doing it.
Yeah. So essentially, you guys put it in. It was on the video, but it didn't make it into the written minutes.
Okay.
So I've drafted up what I heard, and I could read it to you, and then you can put it into the minutes if you want. Basically, Commissioner Scarano made a motion to approve an in-budget transfer via contingency release of $60,000 to the Police Commission for the additional video equipment needed by the police department, seconded by Commissioner Lombardo. The motion was unanimously approved. I think that was the gist.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Was? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we can add that, right, into these minutes and show it as a correction.
And the next one,
Uh,
electronic vote.
oh,
That is not
That we can't
posted.
that one.
Ah,
Oh, where did I put that? Yeah,
Good thing she's here.
good thing she's here, is right.
Keep it straight.
The switch, remove the switch.
Yeah,
And
there was a discussion about, and Doug, you're on, right?
Yes, good evening, everybody. How are you?
Yeah, remember that it was a switch that was proposed. I think they were looking to get a credit to not do the work, and then I think this group said
The
to
disconnect.
keep it in the contract and
Yeah.
stay with the original
Yes.
scope.
That was at the school.
Right, and I think, Don, I think maybe you were leading off with the, you vote.
Jason,
Oh, Jason?
I think we both, we both.
Yeah, the vote, you were saying to stay with what was shown on the contract drawings and remove the switch, no change in scope. So if we could have a motion for that, and Lisa can just,
I'll make a motion.
okay.
Let's second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Lisa, you good on that?
5 weeks after the fact, we already did it.
It'll be memorialized.
I'm gonna have a
Right
discussion
before
about
that.
that, because I disagree with an
The
email.
town clerks.
I disagree. Nobody else can vote except for us, so it doesn't matter where we are. We could be at a carnival.
Okay, you just voted, and it's
All right.
in the minutes, and it's,
Well, and retroactively, we have to go back and do every vote we took in the last, I don't know, since Jubilee was
and
here, maybe a dozen
document it
years.
on paper,
What's that?
And document it on paper.
I'm
well, I
not doing
think it
that.
probably was documented. Probably in the subsequent minutes. Anyway, so I guess we have now Brian here with all kinds of good
Oh,
stuff.
was there a motion on
There
the
was
minutes
not.
as approved?
No.
Or as revised?
As amended.
As
I make a
amended?
motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I second it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I abstain, just to be obstreperous. Okay, I think the next order of business is audience of citizens. We have none. And then expansion and renovation at this building.
That's
Brian,
me.
you're up.
I'm up. I gotta give you an update on Millennium Builders. They are making progress. Their anticipated contract date for substantial completion is November 11th. We just are at September 11th. So they have 8 weeks to get to substantial completion. They say they're gonna do it. I'm not sure they're gonna do it. but they're working.
Well, it's, how do you
Towards it.
define substantial loan?
It's available for its intended use. So are the bathrooms done and can they be used? And it's life safety done and can it be occupied? When it gets to a police department though, it has to be a little bit more than that.
Be
Because
tighter, yeah.
with a punch list, if there's a punch list, contractors have a hard time getting back in there. So we don't want the PD to occupy it until we really know the punch list is done. It's just access control is a problem. Contractors show up, they don't have escorts to get them in there. It's just a pain in the neck. So we want it to be done.
Right.
We don't want a punch list.
Well, as the architect of record, that's your call.
And we will,
Does that involve you having a discussion with the police department to make sure they don't jump the gun?
It's
well,
not
they can't jump the gun until I give them a substantial completion.
in a C of O.
And then
Yeah.
they get a certificate of occupancy. So we have ways to.
Is there
hold
going
back.
to be a TCO or just a CO?
Oh, we just want to see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So we have ways to hold back.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's really any urgency yet to get, for them to move, because they're performing fine where they are. This is just an enhancement. So we can hold back. I'm not saying that there's a problem, that there's going to be an issue. Millennium's been great to work with. They're making progress. But if you're looking at their monthly invoices, they're a little weak as far as the dollar volume
Yeah.
per
yeah.
month.
The burn
So-
rate's off based on that. The work.
They have people, but they don't have a lot of people. In August, it was hard to find anybody because schools were all taking labor.
Right.
So I'm hoping September that labor can show up.
Is it an labor issue, or is there anything outstanding
They're not
from an
waiting.
equipment standpoint?
No, they
So
have,
It's strictly labor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have a sense of how far beyond the end date that we think they might be? Is it 2
I-
weeks, 4 weeks, 8
I
weeks?
think instead of November, think December.
What was the contractual completion date?
Substantial completion on November 11th.
Is there anything to be done proactively now?
But we just bring it up and they just keep saying, yeah, we're gonna make it. So good. Have that
Okay.
attitude.
All right.
I'm just telling you, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything,
Oh, yeah.
is there anything we're gonna lose that's gonna cost us any more?
No.
That's gonna create any problems for us or the police department?
No, they wouldn't have any claim for anything.
And they're issuing a 2-week look ahead schedule, right? Every week.
They have,
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
are they hitting the task dates on the 2-week look ahead or?
they are.
I was down there today. They got trees flying everywhere.
Yeah.
I took a picture of the columns because I got to send them around. But I was down there and it was like guys on ladders, guys that down there. They got
Good.
site work going on. So yeah,
So
it's
they're-
buzzing down there. You could barely get Adam's attention. So there, as far as right now, there's a glut of manpower working on it, both in the front
Good.
and back. So
We should make a cardboard cutout of Brian.
like
Oh,
go,
yeah.
go,
Show up every morning.
push.
Just for sequencing, for instance, they've held off on doing the bathrooms because it's off the public lobby. And that's a real disruption to public and dispatching. And so they really have been concentrating on the bigger portion of the project.
Yep.
They've just now started pouring footings and foundations for the bathrooms that are going. So they have 2 months to build the bathrooms. If they have enough people, they can do it.
Yeah.
But if they've been, like the last July and August, it's gonna take them more than that. So we'll see.
We didn't have any LDs or CDs in there, did we? In the contract, no liquidated damages or consequential damages.
There are, but I'm not even wanting to talk about it.
All right.
Because they've done it.
They've done a good
They've
job.
done a
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
What about the pillar that had a lot more rust than originally thought? Is that slowing them up or
Done.
no?
It has not affected their schedule at all because it's an isolated column
Right.
and everything can happen around it.
Okay.
So it hasn't impacted schedule, and they admit that there's no schedule impact. But it's now been repaired.
Okay.
So the welder's been down there, he welded it up, I took some pictures myself.
Yeah.
I sent them off to the structural engineer. They put a whole new beam, carrying beam for under the front entrance. And they've welded supports to the lower section of the column and bracketed them up to support what was there. Because at the column beam connection, it was pretty much disintegrated. There wasn't enough to weld to. So they had to create from below a new support structure to support what's there, and it's all been welded and it's solid. And it's all gonna be above the ceiling, so you're not gonna see it. There are 2 columns that were in physical training room. The 2 columns, we were showing wraps with drywall. We're recommending that we don't wrap those with drywall. We're just gonna paint the columns. And if there is any water,
You can see it.
you're gonna see it.
Yeah.
And why hide it behind drywall?
Yeah.
Drywall in a gym is
Ridiculous.
just something that's gonna get bumped or scratched or damaged. We're just gonna paint the columns, leave them exposed in the room. They'll be fine.
Yeah, this is what column looks like. So they're rectangular. Actually, they're very paintable. And I talked to Adam, he goes, yeah, we can just kind of, sort of prep
Sand
it
down
and paint them. But there's 2 of them. So they're like in there, and from what he said, they're gonna put mirrors behind on the block along that wall.
Right.
So really, I mean,
Everybody's basement.
Well, are those fire rated? So they're not required to be fire rated?
They're not.
Okay.
No, the only fire rating we have is at the Sallyport between Sallyport ceiling and.
Because of the vehicles?
Because of the vehicles. And then the walls of the Sallyport are also rated, but that's the only area that we had to provide the rating.
So those originally had column enclosures, right? We're just
No,
going to
they're
paint?
out in the middle of the storage space.
yeah, no, they were
Yeah.
never,
Oh, okay.
they were never enclosed, and so it was steel. So
And they had a big tarp that was catching water for, I don't know.
I know.
how
it
many
was like a
years.
tarp/funnel
It was-
system.
It was a tarp to a hose.
It was a deferred maintenance issue, really.
And it was, a lot of it was hit, when I went down there was so much crap in the Board of Ed storage area, you never really noticed. All of a sudden, when you pulled it out, it was like, wow, what is that? So.
Good.
Financially, this is where we stand. And there are 2 change orders on this list, both change order 7 and change order 8 that you have not acted on. But I've included them in this summary. At the top, you can see the original contract sum was $2,524,700. And the revised contract sum, if you take all 8 change orders, is now $2,622,963.98. So that's where we are as far as millenniums with all change orders incorporated. We, taking into account 7 and 8, you have both of those on your action items for tonight. PCO 7 is we have 7 cameras that were shown in the area of the Sallyport and prisoner processing. Those cameras need audio. In addition to video recording, they have to do audio recording in the whole
That's a state
process
requirement.
of coming in, any handling of prisoners has to have audio and video.
I thought theoretically we all agreed to 7.
I think we did, yeah.
So that's the final number that we got. We also increased the cameras from a 2 megapixel camera to a 5 megapixel, so they'll have better clarity on the video because it's prisoner processing. So that changes those 7. We do have a credit for the 7 that we had in the spec.
Right.
And then the ad for the audio. And we recommend approval of PCO 7. PCO 8 was something that you asked me to do once the structure was completed at the column beam connection. And we could get the same waterproofer back that did PCO 2 and do a reverse side waterproofing injection up into the plaza from that beam connection, because there is still water at that location. But now that it's been cleaned out and all of the structural work has been finished, they can come back and it'll take them 2 days to prep and inject and waterproof that column connection. So that would be tight and sealed at the plaza.
So
this
what
would-
about, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what about the waterproofing of the deck? That's more deferred maintenance than this
The plaza.
project, the plaza, yeah.
That'd be
Well, the
outside.
waterproofing that we did for the 31A, it stopped all the water. So it's really deferred that plaza project for whenever you want to.
Where's the water coming from?
This is a different location,
Okay.
Yeah.
different, this 31A was the whole
Right,
range.
right.
This 13-1 is just at the column, which is at the front entrance. It's not at the wall, it's at the front entrance. We had pulled the unit heater out of the wall, thinking there might have been some water coming down a rainwater leader. They scoped the leader was fine,
Yeah.
there was no indication of water coming from the downspout. So it just must be surface water getting in on the plaza side.
So now when we do at the column, where's it gonna pop up next, I guess is the question.
Well, every place else underneath there is tight.
Is there,
Yeah,
So this is really the beam pocket, right, for the,
I think so.
Yeah.
And they'll inject it, and it was successful once.
Yeah.
They're pretty confident they can be successful again. And then the plaza project becomes a whenever project.
Yeah.
You know, there's no
Right.
urgency on the plaza.
it's not flooding the basement.
Yeah, you're tight. So that's what would solve now.
But the plaza project would be up to the town council.
Yeah, that's beyond our
Yeah,
control.
That's
Yeah,
not our.
that's facilities.
It's a bigger.
I have a quick question. Have any of the change orders asked for additional time? Brian, it sounds like you're not thinking they're gonna make the contractual date, but have we added time via change orders?
They have not requested any time. But if they do request time, I would think that would be something I would consider in a
Okay.
future change.
Do you expect that to happen?
I don't.
Yeah, the
Okay.
first 6 are done, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just,
just saying I haven't gone back and looked at those, so I don't know if they already did, but even just like, going forward, just wondering.
And it doesn't sound like these 7 and 8 have.
7 and 8
I'm
don't
not an
affect the
expert. I
schedule.
don't think we're gonna throw off the schedule.
No.
Okay.
So you're at 3.89% of the contract right now in change orders. Talking with Adam, he doesn't see anything on the horizon. We don't see anything on the horizon. He's got 8 more weeks. They're just putting final finishes in. And I think we're pretty well over all of these issues.
This is just for Millennium. So the internal budget transfer is not part of this.
Correct. This is
Yep.
tracking the Millennium
Yep.
scope. So, and the majority of the 98, as you can see, is I classify these and put them into buckets.
Yeah.
And the waterproofing in the column, and it's just been an unforeseen. So
Oh,
when we opened it up, it was,
This is great. This is
So-
great.
On your other sheet, the 98 comes out of the 350 for phase
Ah.
one?
let's go to the next sheet I sent you. The next sheet is dated February 2022. This is not a new document. This is a 2-year-plus old document. 2 years ago, we were tracking, and at that time, we called them phases. We're not calling them phases anymore.
Right.
But when we printed this, I haven't changed it. Project 1, phase 1 is now the project we're talking about. The project we're currently doing. It's project 1.
Right.
2 years ago, we saw that at a 2,776 estimate for the hard costs. And we're at 2,622
With change.
with change orders. But that's the budget we had put in and requested for project 1. But in addition to the project hard costs, you can see what we had requested from the town council for soft costs. And we have $60,000 in there for telephone data, building equipment, and AV systems. The $60,000 was for Norcom and Siemens. We knew that we were gonna have to spend money on it.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't know at that time that the recorder was gonna crap out and you have to buy an entire new one. We were just thinking you had to upgrade existing equipment, but unfortunately, the timing happened that the whole thing failed. So you're having to buy a brand new unit for the town and
Right.
the new stuff. So that's the difference in why the Norcom quote's at 60 right now.
Right.
The existing equipment failed.
I think it was a remarkable job so far financially. I mean, it's one of the better ones I've seen in a long time.
I mean, we're at 3.4, we're not even gonna be anywhere close. I
Yeah.
think
Right.
when we're done, because we were on top of that at a 15% contingency, you're not even gonna touch it.
Trying to hit that.
So that's what we had budgeted, and when I went to the council, I believe these were the numbers that I thought were
reasonable at the time, yeah. Well, it was 2 years ago, 2022.
Well, we know what price we're doing.
So there's a couple reasons why I hand this out. One, I wanted you to see how we were tracking according to our original estimates. And we're just knocking on the door of the 2776 number. We're 150,000 under 2+ years later.
With including the contingency
With the
costs already in it.
But the what is showing here is phase 2 and phase 3.
That's what I was gonna ask next.
What that is we always talked about this being project 2. And project 2 is what you have in blue. Because the police department are gonna occupy the green
Right,
pretty soon. If you wanna roll this into project 2, we've gotta get going on some drawings so we can bid project 2. So we can minimize the amount of downtime between project 1 and project 2 and not extend a construction project for the police department. I think it would probably benefit them if we can keep the ball rolling instead of having a bunch of downtime.
That was what my phone call was for,
Oh,
exactly that. So that's why I was calling.
so
So,
the blue areas, I'm saying it's $1 million. And it's taking the 800 and it's taking the 80, so it's like 880 in hard costs. You know, all total, it's probably the $1 million at the bottom of phase 2. You know, it would have been 1.1 or 1.2. I don't think we're going to need that.
What was phase 3?
Phase 3
some of the carports.
was the
Oh, no.
prisoner processing area. Phase 2 was everything in blue. This little prisoner processing area down at the bottom was phase 3. And the carports was the last one. The end phase
Yeah.
was
the carport thing is whatever. But,
So we, instead of any phase, we can say any year.
yeah. So, Brian,
Yes, yes.
Any year.
so the question I have is, the project 2, what's your lead time on drawing development? What do you think? How long is it gonna
I think
take?
we're gonna need 2 months to draw it.
All right.
So that's the end of the project.
Yeah.
I
And then-
don't see it as a change order to Millennium. I'm, you know, you can talk about that, but it could be like a $800 million change order, and I don't know if that's gonna go well. Plus, the CHRO requirements are in Millennium scope now, and they wouldn't have to be for the project 2.
Because it's under the threshold.
Well, you're not gonna use, if you're not, I think all your state money is
Oh.
being used in the first project. I don't know if you have state money for the second project.
So
If it's just local money, then you don't have to do it.
put timing on it. Let's say it takes you 2 months. Let's say first of the year, your drawings are done.
Right.
Use that as a timeline. Bid, an award, what are we thinking? Another 2 months soak?
2 months max.
Yeah.
February, March.
Trustees award.
The area in blue is area that we have some renovations and new finishes. The area that's hatched, we had talked about just putting in some new LED lighting and replacing the ceilings. So we might touch those spaces, but we're not in there doing any heavy renovation. We're doing LED lighting and new ceilings. But the ceilings in all the corridors are all that concealed spline. Just been a mess for them, trying to get access into those ceilings. So just take them all out, put in new lighting, put in some accessible ceilings. They're in, they're out. It's not a lot of disruption.
Having said that, what's your estimate of the time to complete phase 2?
Well, I would say it might still be 5 months because they have to order stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no real mechanical in that scope.
Right.
It's all finished.
It's finishes,
Yeah.
but you have to order the finishes. You
Right,
gotta get the
right.
finishes.
What about,
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah,
November 1 would
so
be
if
the
they
target.
start, they have to get it done by a year from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they finish this. Are they gonna be able to occupy this in phases, or is it just all in at the same?
The fact that they have the area in green is gonna relieve them.
They don't need any of the blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they'll have, they can jockey around.
I didn't know if they needed COs on it, or whether the work could be done, you know, like you're doing it in school.
It'll have to be sequenced.
Yeah.
It'll be sequenced.
And so let's say we have a surplus for project one at the end of it. What would you anticipate roughly that number being right now if you had to guess? And again, not holding me to just a guess.
Off of this 3.4 number?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not.
I'd say 800 grand, somewhere around there. Let's go conservative and say 650.
Six to seven.
Yeah,
Say 650.
it's still more than 50% of the
Yeah.
cost of phase two.
Yeah.
So if it's gonna be looking at that, is that something that, oh yeah, the town council can, they would probably want to fund this.
Well,
You have to see how, when I was
Yeah.
at the town council meeting, I think they funded it up to the larger
Right,
number
they did.
anyway.
Yeah. So
but
it's
it
over
was
what,
based
5
on,
to 2?
yearly budgeting.
Right,
They
Oh, what
funded it,
year? What year it
Yes.
fell?
correct.
That could be right, but
Yeah.
they had appropriated the larger number.
Right.
And then they received state aid on top of that. So they probably just reduced their contribution. So I don't know how they financed it.
yeah.
I don't know what year they've put this into.
Right.
But I think the appropriation's already been made.
I think,
Yeah.
I think for 2025, I think there's about $1 million in there. So the numbers work.
These would fit right
That's
into
right.
that if that's,
Yeah.
if that's.
With the surplus that's left in project one.
Yeah.
You add it to your
Right.
2025 numbers, you're done.
Correct.
What kind of design?
Well, we would still need to
Might as
have
well do
contingency
phase three,
too for
right?
Phase two, right?
We have $30,000 in there,
If that's the case, is that realistic or just blow the thing out?
probably a little
Well,
light,
With phase three, it's
I would
only
think
Probably a
take it
little
all
3,000.
phase,
probably a little
all
light.
project two.
Yeah.
I might get you an
Rest of just
engineer.
Except for the outside.
Except for
I saw the number.
Yeah.
I wanted you to tell me it was good.
See, Brian, so it would be, based on this, it'd be the project two and project three combined.
Combined, yes, yeah, combine the two.
Yeah, and then the last piece that we're talking about for the outside, whatever you want to call it for the cars, we won't talk about that one for now. Let that go.
Oh, right, 2026.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what we ought to call it.
And then how do we leave the contract with Millennium when we awarded it? Was it open-ended or no? I don't remember.
It's just based off our contract documents, which are specific.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
think,
they-
So we got a bid.
I think we were
Yeah.
told we couldn't do it.
They've only bid it off of our
Okay.
contract staff.
So that's done. They're allowed to bid on it and that's it.
We hope they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they know the building now, so.
That's right, and we know the players.
So we're saying probably the totality of 2 and 3 with contingency, with everything else in there is probably about $1.5 million, right?
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that would be the.
That would be a considerable contingency,
Yes, yes.
so.
And then we'd say the $1.5 million, and then we're getting, let's say 600.
Back,
So you're talking under
still
$1
under
million.
$1 million.
Now, there's really
Which
there's no
includes-
mechanical work in this other than the training classroom. Probably have to supplement that with some additional AC and heat.
Yeah, the only concern I have,
That's a heat pump or
yeah, the only concern I have is when we tear down ceilings, what we find above the
Yes,
ceilings.
there'd be
Uh,
no
it's-
surprises, any
always.
structural surprises.
with any renovation,
Yeah.
that's why we were carrying a 15%.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fine.
But,
Could we be running into more waterproofing issues again? you think,
well,
with
it's
this
not under the
next thing?
plaza, that's a good thing.
Okay.
There's only occupied space above it, there's
Okay.
no plaza above it. We've taken care of the plaza space. There will be gremlins.
There'll be something.
Yeah.
I know there will be.
That's why we have
Not another
contingencies.
camera system.
Well, we'll probably upgrade the cameras, right? In
Yeah,
that space.
but I'm just saying not a whole nother whatever system.
Recorders, brand new.
Recorders, everything else.
There's no lab space and there's nothing like that.
The
It's all in
Salamino
the
cats that disappeared a couple years ago might be
Yeah.
hibernating up there.
All the forensic stuff, all
And
the
all their-
evidence is in the green area.
So all the expensive stuff is out of there. Okay.
It's just office space. We have a break room, which is kitchen equipment. The rest of it is just office space.
Don, if you're available, I just had a question regarding this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just, so the Gordian, the CROG contract that we've utilized before, it's pre-bid unit cost work. Millennium did get awarded our region again, so it's just a food for thought type of thing as an approach for the next project. If we wanted to consider them, it would be solely with Millennium if we use the CROG contract.
Is there a dollar cutoff on a threshold for what you could use that for?
It's all pre-bid. The CROG went out to bid. Millennium got the contract for this next period. So it's all unit cost. Everything's, so if there's a plan and spec submitted, the unit cost would apply to the plans, and then we'd get a budget based on that.
But it would be a brand new contract.
Correct.
Yep.
And we could go to council utilizing that CROG Gordian Easy ICQ contract in lieu of bidding, unless the thought is to bid it.
Well, I guess the only question I have on that is based on the rates that they have in there, would we get more benefit to the town by bidding it out completely or by using that contract means? I mean, time is not of the essence here. If time was of the essence, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think it is. So I guess the only question I would have really is, you know, what are those unit rates and how do they affect what we're going to be doing here? Because right now, let's say we're earmarking, let's call it 1.15 for the work based on bidding it. If we find out at the end of the day it's going to be 1.850 or 2 million because we're using their unit rates, you know, it doesn't help anyone involved.
Oh, yeah.
That's my only
Absolutely.
concern.
So we'd have to compare their unit rates that they gave us back then.
Or no,
You're not going to be able to unless you do a detailed
Yeah,
estimate.
we'd have to
dive
look
in.
at the unit rates of the
Yeah,
contract to
right.
see.
I got you.
Yeah, do that. At least take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's something we should look at, but whether it makes sense or
Yeah, it
not.
may not. To your point,
Yeah.
if it goes up, if it goes down, it goes the other way, maybe.
Well, it's a perception thing as
Yeah.
well
Well,
with,
yeah.
with the town. If we're not bidding it, and you know, it's $1.5 million job, let's say, or $1.6 million job. When you go to the street and you get those numbers back, there's no discussion on it. It's over. We went to the street. These are the numbers we got back, and this is the way we're running with it. So I think it's something, Doug. You made a good point, and it's something we should at least take a look at and try to understand what those costs are going to be.
Well, what was the intent or is the intent of going through, and I don't know what that word is, CROG?
What a capital region council
Council
government.
governments, yeah.
It's just,
CROG.
Yeah.
Well, what's the intent of the town to do that? To
well,
do
the intent
projects
of
like
the
this,
is
or
to get
do-
things bid and have bid rates available. So somebody like the town can go say, I have somebody qualified, pre-qualified, pre-bid. I could select them to save time and money on bidding the process.
But for projects this size or for $200,000 projects?
It's
or-
really intended for, let's say we got a hole in the roof and it flooded down
Yeah,
a bunch of the space, and we need to get it repaired immediately.
that was my thinking, that it's for something that's quick and,
That's what it's here.
Smaller.
That's what it was designed around.
right.
People have flexed it way out
They
from there.
have. I think New Britain is actually using it for some of their stuff, but I think they worked, I don't know, with Millennium on
Yeah.
something, and they went to Butler Building versus what they had.
Correct.
I don't know much about it, but I did hear Millennium did work well with them, and I think they used that Gordian Easy ICQ contract as the vehicle to avoid going out to public bid.
And is there a dollar threshold that town
I
can
don't-
use
I
per
don't-
year,
Look-
or is it open-ended?
Let's be clear.
I don't know.
mean,
I don't know how New Britain
that
was
document,
working.
that is publicly bid. I mean, let's be clear.
Oh, yeah,
So it is publicly bid, it's just not on a specific project.
no,
Yeah,
yeah.
general.
I mean,
Unit
and
rates.
and I agree with Don's point, if it's cost prohibitive or higher than expected, then not to do it. But if it's lower, fine. But also you have to be careful saying that if you don't think it's an appropriate bidding mechanism, then I would argue then you could or should never use
And I don't think there's
Yeah.
any more
it, unless
state,
it's an emergency.
Yeah,
there's no more state or regional money available for us for this project, I don't believe.
If it's a separate project.
Yeah.
I think the money that you receive from the state is all absorbed in your first.
I think it is. I think
Yeah.
it was $750. I think that was kicked in.
So there's no cost benefit reason to bid it where we would get outside funding.
Right.
You follow me on that?
Yeah, right.
So if there was, that's something to consider as well. But if there isn't, again, if someone wants to take the time to go through, once the scope is generated, and do a takeoff, and
It's a lot of work.
compare, I know, I do it all the time. That's what I do for a living.
Well, how about you do it?
Wait, did I hear a volunteer?
Yeah.
For free. Yeah, for free, yeah.
Open your mouth. Volunteer.
I got two guys I'm paid to do nothing. Maybe they can do it.
Sergeant Lombardo. No, I understand your point exactly. And I think that was my point in bringing it up. I think it's for a hole in the roof and holy crap, it's Friday. You need something done by Monday and smaller numbers. This sounds like it would be a little bit
Upper edge.
Yeah,
I think
out
right
of
now-
this, for me anyway.
Well, let's talk about the bid environment right now.
It's beyond their own labor force. They're
Yeah.
gonna subcontract out for a lot of this.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that applies to the
Well,
rates.
let's talk about the labor market right now. I think it's still good.
It is good.
So
So
let's
we
bid
should
it.
get good numbers. I say I agree with
Yeah,
Dominic.
it is good.
And Millennium is certainly going to have the leg up. They've been in there, they know exactly what's going on, so
I think
they
it's
should be
actually
able to
better
fine
than
tune
it
the
was
cost.
last
How
year.
much did we?
Was that?
I think the market is better for us now.
And then last
Didn't
year,
leave a whole lot on the
don't
table.
forget,
They were
Millennium
close.
last year.
It was a pretty good bid.
They were close.
It was very
Yeah.
So
close.
they're not
Yeah.
gonna play games
Those,
with
all
it.
the numbers were really
They're not
tight.
gonna play games and jack that number up because they know. Next
They're
year.
just starting, Millennium's just starting all the site work in the back, so they're gonna be ripping out pavement, putting in curbs and repaving. So it's gonna be a little disruption for the Board of Ed, but they're gonna get everybody to park over there because it starts from where the road comes and intersects with the
Right.
town farm. It's gonna get all repaved all the way in, restriped. So they're getting that.
So how do we proceed? Do we need we need to go back to town council? Get a statement of need for project 2?
No, I don't think we need a statement for that. I think we already have it.
We need a
Well,
cost proposal from you for what you're.
If you'd like us to give us a proposal for this, we'd love to.
Well, you still
So
have,
I'm taking direction from you.
but you
Make a
still have
motion.
money left in the original contract,
Some.
right? Yeah, but it's not enough. Because you've actually done a few extra things.
So I think the way we approach this is a whole separate project. But I think what we'll do is, we'll make a recommendation to have you provide us a proposal for the services to complete the project, let's call it.
We can amend our current contract to include this scope, because Mike's right. When you took some of this scope away as projects, we reduced our fee.
Right, you did.
Yeah.
So there is some fee available, but we need to supplement it
Right.
with some more.
'Cause I would make the argument with anyone that we could not go out for another architect at this point because it's integral.
It's so enmeshed.
Yeah.
It's-
So it's intertwined. So I'm 100% on board with the thought process of using them to complete the project, get us your fees in, and then we'll make a recommendation to town council.
And it is using not excess, but from remaining funds from the first contract, which was meant to be all inclusive. Right.
So I think we have enough funds available internally to handle the whole bid process, get all the numbers in, and then we send it back to council once we get all the numbers in, make a recommendation for the start of project 2 with the schedule and the total dollars. Because we'll have all the bid numbers together, so there's no argument left there.
Well, I can confirm with Kevin, finance
Yeah,
director,
yeah.
how all this plays in once we have his numbers. And if we're using 1.5 minus the 650, whatever that is, 750, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we can see he is actually doing a bond sale 24th of this month for 860 for this project. So he's gonna have money available.
So is he doing it for the full 5-2?
No.
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 Don't say where he is.
No. That's a referendum, Don.
We did have $20,000 in here for a commissioning services. I don't know if that's something you're interested in doing. You don't need to do it. There's a new air handling unit. There's some VRF system
Yeah, I don't think we
going
need
in.
it for that.
If you don't want to commission it, that's fine with me. I just had some money in there if you wanted to. So there's 20,000 there was anticipated. The survey that we had in here for $5,000, we didn't need to do it. So there was no money spent on that.
Well, we're gonna need commissioning for the next section.
there's no mechanical
there's no
in the
mechanical.
next section.
Oh, no, you're right.
There might be for the training classroom, we'll have to
Air handler.
put something in there because we're increasing occupancy in that space. Right. We can do that locally with a heat pump.
So do we need a motion now to get Brian going or wait till?
I think we make a motion and have Brian provide a proposal to complete the project.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
They're working on it.
Good to go.
You said you get it done
And-
by the end of October.
And change orders, I do
Seven
have
and
change
eight,
orders
right?
7 and 8, but I don't think you've ever taken action on.
No, they haven't.
Well, it sounds like bad children.
Well, 7 was just, I think that was
I thought we
just
talked about
finalized.
7.
We talked about
Yeah, we did.
7, I
8.
have this where you can get a signature on.
Yeah, I know. And then 8,
And then 8,
same thing,
we
right?
just,
Came out today.
The ink is still wet on this one,
Yeah.
so I don't even have Millennium.
You may not
signature.
have 8. No, because it just came
We
out.
just-
Literally,
we don't
they
have
got the
eight, we got
waterproofing,
seven. How do we approve
savvy,
this one?
and whatever. So if
So
you don't
is it an
have,
official
if
vote
you
or
don't have
something?
8,
Hold on.
We just gotta do an official vote.
Yeah, the only one I have.
Yeah, here's
here
8.
is
I'm gonna give you 8 from Brian.
7.
7. Keep that as-
Tom gonna sign it?
Well, yeah, Tom's gonna, well, he already has 7, so that's an extra.
So I
copy.
have 7.
Oh,
He
you have
already
7.
had, he
Yeah,
has 7.
I have
That
7.
was- Yeah, because that was sent in early. So,
Oh, hold on a second. Agenda. So then we'll take, they're not on the agenda, but we'll take care of them, like, as part of the Jakunsky Architects invoice. And then we'll do Millennium and Tri-State separate. So I have 2 change orders that need approval. The first one is change order number 7 in the amount of $7,722.70.
I make a motion, we approve it.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Who was the second?
Bart?
And then the second change order is change order number 8, number 8, in the amount of $13,126.06 for waterproofing at the base of the column B area. Or at the base, the top of the column B.
Yep.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Bart made the motion, Tom seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, those 2 are approved. Then we have
Don't wanna get paid too?
I have an invoice from Jakunsky Humes, number 24248, the amount of, should be more, the amount of $4,270.
That's it?
That's so expensive.
That sounds too skinny to me.
I motion we approve.
Which leaves a balance of $14,955. Rocco made a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Yeah, you're on a roll.
I think it's the first motion from the internet.
I like it.
Then we have a invoice from Millennium Builders. Signed off by Brian Hume. The amount of $168,435. Even.
Make a motion, we pay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
I hope they triple that amount.
Yeah.
I hope it is. I
Yeah.
hope it is.
Well, again, $8 for a cardboard cutout and a whip, and see what happens. And then an invoice from Tri-State Materials Testing in the amount of $439.02.
Make a motion. Pay it.
Second. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Brian, you go home.
Well, there's one more item, then maybe Brian,
You wanna move up 8?
Brian and Doug
Yeah.
can chime in on.
Oh, okie dokie.
Okay, This
Then,
is,
do I have a motion to move item number 8 up to item number, and become item number 5?
I'll make that motion.
well, yeah, but we have one more item on the PD. There's
Oh, we
a,
do?
yeah, well,
It's not on
it's
here.
in the discussion. Yeah, it's in the, update. It's in the update. And Doug can help out too. There's almost a $20,000 proposal from Siemens for access control. And some of this was already in Brian's original budget. We already reduced the contingency to pay for the PD's camera server for 60. So I guess the question is, for the PDC, is do you want to reduce the contingency further? Or do you want us to use funds that are outside Millennium's contract amount for the $20,000? And Doug, can you explain?
I can explain.
Okay, all right.
Because we have integrated technology systems that exist down in the police department, the only way we can add devices is to install the devices and wire them back to the existing equipment. But we can't touch the existing equipment because it's under warranty and it's installed by somebody else. For the camera system, all that head-end equipment is Norcom's. For the access control system, all of the head-end equipment is Siemens. So what we've been asking the town to do is get the existing equipment ready to accept the additional feeds for cameras and ready to accept the additional feeds for access control.
Now, who in the town does that?
Well, Doug has been coordinating with Siemens to do the access control portion of it. And the $20,000, because now you need to add some additional switches and capacity to your access control head-end equipment. They will then take the feeds from the new access control doors that we have in our project. We are installing all of the electrified hardware. We're installing all the fobs. We're installing all of the devices, sending it back through a Cat6 cable. So Siemens has to just take our cable, plug it in and program it, and make sure they have capacity.
Is Millennial doing all your work?
Millennium's doing my work. Yes.
And then the guy from Siemens comes in and goes,
Connects it in and programs it.
sounds like the union in New York City.
That's right.
Well, he's
yeah.
probably
But
gonna
he's
add
got to add
cards.
switches.
I understand,
He's
The
got
panel's
to add
probably
equipment.
overloaded.
Yeah.
Because the equipment there is only sized for what they have currently.
Right.
When we add devices, he needs to add equipment. The same thing that Norcom was doing on the CCTV side. They have to add storage for the cameras because they're now recording more cameras. And they have to get the feeds. So Norcom system, yeah, that increased. And now that was the $60,000, which we thought was only going to be about $20,000. Because we started from zero now. On the CCTV side, we had to start from zero. On the Siemens side, they looked at their equipment. Yeah, they just need to add $20,000 worth of equipment and labor and programming. And then all of that, and it'll still stay and maintain your warranty on this.
The issue is which key does the 3-card Monte go under?
And what
It's the
happened?
only-
Although
it's
this
the-
is a valid 3-card.
But it's the
Monte.
only way because the systems were existing.
Yeah, no,
it's the
I
only way
get
we
you.
could
Yeah,
design
I
it.
remember all that discussion.
But does it need to go through Millennium or not? Is the question I have.
Yeah,
They'd mark it up.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. And what are they doing for the markup?
Nothing.
Okay, so why don't we just do like we did with the other system
Yeah.
and run it through the town?
Yeah, the Millennium doesn't want to get involved in this.
Yeah. So then let's just run it that way. It's something we just did with Norcom.
Okay, do you want to then increase, because I have a contingency reduction request for the council's meeting next week for 60. Do you want to add the 20 and make it 80?
yeah, it's all
Okay,
related.
all right,
Yeah,
so I
It's
can
coming
adjust.
into internal budget
Kate's
transfer.
gonna kill me, but I'm gonna have to
Great.
adjust the item
Have to replace the
and
whole.
we'll get
That's why we
that.
don't want to touch.
So
it.
if you
no,
guys
no,
can make
yeah,
a motion for
It's
that,
under warranty.
Yeah, we don't
then
touch it.
I can then use that as the a point of PVC approval to do it.
So I make a motion that we, hold on a second.
It's like
We
the
include the Siemens cost of
Page eight. Page eight.
Transforming
Page eight.
every day.
Okay, page 8, got it. $19,675.
Brings the whole project together.
Gotta finish the motion.
He did. I seconded it.
Oh, okay.
Jason.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
And to clarify,
So I'll do 60 plus the 19, 675.
Yeah.
So that'll be a specific number.
correct.
Got
And
it.
it's, in the best way to list it is OS&E,
OS&E.
owner supplied equipment that we need to do to meet the town requirements. And that's the way I'd write
And
it.
it was actually already in the budget too. So.
Yeah. We just carried the dollars in our budget for this OS&E products because there was nowhere else to carry
Nowhere
it.
else to put it.
Because it's a project-specific cost.
Right.
Tom,
Okay.
just to clarify a couple items too, that Brian and the IT staff and the police staff, there was a lot of time and effort behind the scenes, both for the Normcom cameras, the access control. So there was a lot of work that everybody put in. So just wanted to make sure that this wasn't just a quick, let's get a quote and plug something in. This was, months worth of work with everybody going back and forth with Brian, clarifying what Millennium owned, what the owner had to provide, what the vendor had to do outside of the contract. So I mean, everybody worked well to get to where we are, so that everything integrates accordingly. So it was a lot of work.
I appreciate, Doug, all the hard work pulling together on the town side.
And it's really an IT based, IT manages all this stuff for the PD and for the town. And so there's a lot of hands in this behind the scenes that make this all happen. So, but Brian and his team was wonderful with Mike to help work with everybody to get the information to figure out, what the missing pieces were to get this. So it was great.
It just for the record, it's a proprietary system that the town already uses. So it's a plug and play for us. We carry
Right.
dollars in our budget for it. We just never knew what it was going to be defined for. And we have dollars to cover it. So that's a good thing.
Your
Yeah.
access,
It's Genetec. Genetec is actual platform. So Siemens is one of the service providers on state and national contract, and they're pre-approved by council along with another vendor. So that proposal may fluctuate. They kind of went based on if they need to do any engineering, any further integration, because typically it would be part of the bid package, but there's a little bit of design build engineering included in that. So that proposal may reduce in the end once all the scope is completed.
Don't promise that.
Yeah.
What?
It'd be great if there's a
brings us to the
credit
next point.
back.
Yeah.
Will there be any more necessary for the second project? All the rest of these roads?
we're not, at this point, we don't think we're adding cameras, we're replacing cameras.
Okay.
And in that, we would probably go direct to Siemens and just have them do it and not have the general contractor get involved. We would have the general contractor just do conduit and pull strings.
Okay.
Let Siemens do
Yeah.
all of it from camera all the way back.
And I'm sure there's more door access and stuff like
Yeah, there's
that
got to be some stuff.
in the next phase.
In the next
There will.
phase.
There will be.
That's a good one. Just have them do the non-technical stuff.
We just don't want a situation where
Yeah.
we're pointing fingers.
Yeah.
Right. I'd like to avoid that for the next phase.
Yeah,
if we
if it's
can.
one contractor, then you can't point fingers anymore. With this scenario where we set it up, where there's a division line of devices versus head end, there's a potential for, it's not mine, it's the device. Almost better just keeping it under one vendor.
Doug, just a question on lead time, because I'm just thinking about it's Thursday night and they usually get the agenda items to the town council tomorrow. And the interim town manager may not begin to sign them. So if this might flip another 2 weeks. I'm just looking at it as plan B. Is that a problem for the Siemens stuff? Is it relatively available?
We can get further clarification, but the worst case is we can work off a key if we need a few weeks.
Okay, so
And
the
then-
worst would be 2 weeks, bumps back to the next town council meeting. And
Yeah,
I'll do it as a
certainly the controlled secured access is kind of the way of the world now with a fob, and not everybody's fobbling around with keys to try to get in and out of the Sally port. But if Millennium's running a few weeks behind in the punch list, then maybe this will all come together right at the 11th hour in conjunction.
All right, I'll try to get it in, but if I can, I'll have to do it as a separate item, the next one.
They're not gonna occupy if their cameras aren't running and recorded.
Right.
It might just hold off occupancy. I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
Anything else? Mr. Ahern?
I'm done. I think Brian's done.
Well, you want to talk about the next agenda?
Make a
Oh, yeah.
motion, move item 8 up.
Before we go to item 8, I was just presented with a paid-off mortgage note, and I still owe money on the mortgage. According to, I don't know where Bart
That was
produced this from,
that
but
was
we
what
have a
the email-
paid invoice for Tri-State that we just approved payment of.
that was one of the emails that came through.
So I'll let you look at it and see, but I have no idea. But it is stamped paid.
And what's the amount to?
Same amount, same invoice,
Same invoice
everything.
number.
Oh yeah, it's a photocopy of the one for payment, so. I need a
Well,
motion to have
Well,
Lisa look into whether we're gonna pay this twice or not. It's not gonna make or break the town, but
no,
Yeah.
we'll rescind it next meeting. Let's let them look into it, see if it's paid or not.
yeah, okay.
Then we can rescind it next meeting.
Bart's causing all these troubles, I just want you to know. I had nothing
Where
to do
did
with it.
that come from?
He's
That
got
was
a
the
big
internet.
file
Oh.
cabinet over there. He looks around.
All right.
It's 3 o'clock, I start printing emails off.
Okay,
I make a motion to move item
this
8 up.
is great, have Lisa with nozzle look. I make a motion, we
At 8 o'clock.
protect this look.
At 8 o'clock, call us.
All right, sorry, Bart. Motion to move item 8 to
Next,
item 5.
Yeah.
Find a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 8. Town Hall and Berlin Peck Memorial Library roof replacement status. Brian?
How can we help? We have, actually, my partner, Al Chikunsky, handles a lot of the roofing in our office. And he had been talking with Doug earlier about a price proposal to do the re-roofing on these 2 buildings. So we were already in conversation with Doug when we got a request to put a proposal in. So the numbers are already been looked at. We had a fee that was already being proposed to Doug. We just redirected a proposal to the PBC for consideration. Now, the Peck Library would include the membrane and the shingles, and there's also some soffit repairs that have to be done just due to the age of the building. And so those are the 3 items that we are going to do at the library. The soffit, it's not the formed metal cornice work that you see going around the building. It's the flat soffit that is under that.
Right.
And it's in bad condition. So if you're going to do the roof, you're going to do the slope, we recommend you also do the soffits. And it's all original construction.
Can we change the material type on the soffit so it doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
It's good, yeah, we would look at that. If there's a better material for that.
How wide a soffit is it?
Well, in the entryway, it's
It's big.
It's like a roof.
big,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
around the perimeter, it's only about 18 inches. So
Yeah, so there's-
that's the
And
scope.
it's gonna be white, right?
Yes, that's the scope of the library. The scope of the town hall, your membrane's been replaced not too long ago, it's still under warranty. And so.
How long ago do we know?
7 years,
All right. And what do we got, 25 on it?
and you have a 20-year warranty.
Okay.
So there's no reason we see that you have to replace your membrane at the town hall, but you haven't addressed the shingles.
How the hell did we replace a membrane without the shingles?
Yeah, it just goes up to the.
Oh, okay.
And the flat roofs were done. The flat
Oh, the
roofs were
roof.
done.
Sorry, go ahead, Rocco.
Doug.
Sorry, Tom. Yeah, Brian knows too, but we did the flat roofs, the gutters, the soffit, the fascia. That was all part of a project with funds that were available back in about 2017. We did that with the intent that those would be done and then the flat roof would follow, or I'm sorry, the shingled portion would follow. So we do have active leaks. We continue to patch them. So it's at the life expectancy.
So it's gonna be a membrane needed under the shingles.
Well, you got
Just
ice
ice and water.
ice and water shield. It's code
Yeah.
requirement.
Yeah, so our proposal is to do the remaining work on the town hall, the shingles, and then all of the scope at the library.
Except if the roof is like I had at my house, which I didn't have plywood, I just had 1x3 slats.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I have half my roof in my attic. So that's my next point. Is there any, when you do a roof like that on buildings like this, does any of the stuff seep through into the library, or is it totally,
It's decked.
it's decked? Okay.
Yeah, and they'll only rip what they can come.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking about the replacement of plywood up there.
Yes.
Yeah. Any of that stuff rotted, you think?
So we're not anticipating that. We don't
Okay.
see any active leaks.
And they could
They could
carry
replace
it if they
Yeah.
come across something at the.
Let's put a contingency on the whole job.
Yeah,
If
if
it
there's
comes
a
up-
unit price that we
This
would put in
is
there,
for the
but
proposal to it.
we would anticipate that to be decent deck.
So Doug, this is what you were looking at? Doug?
Ivar, yes, correct. This is it's been in the capital plan for a few years, so we started, getting some figures together, and it's creeping up on the due date, so it was one of the projects referred to the commission for consideration.
Yep. I'm comfortable with it.
But you've seen it. Has anybody seen it?
I
Other
sent the
than Bart?
proposal around. Do you have a copy of it?
I didn't.
I
When
don't.
you send it around?
But that doesn't say
Oh.
paid on it, though.
No
Okay.
paid.
So I couldn't
Yeah.
get email because I was.
I think I sent it around anyway.
When though?
I think it was right after he sent it. Doug sent it to me. I'm trying to find a date for you.
No, yeah, that's fine.
19.2 for the town.
It was
hall,
probably
30
2
for
weeks
the
ago.
eight.
Okay.
For
Well,
the-
no,
It wasn't last week, it wasn't today.
I still worry about
It's gonna be 2.5 weeks.
for me, some people have no.
I don't know the construction
Yeah.
management stuff.
What's that?
I don't know if we're going to do construction management, but if Doug's looking,
Because I think Bart got it talked through.
There was a question on whether you just wanted to approve it through bidding. So it's broken down into phase. So if you wanted to just approve it through the bid phase, you've had projects where you approve the construction administration once you award a contract for roofing. So whether you want to break it up into phases or just the whole thing, it's up to you, but there's prices there
How quickly can you get this pulled together?
Yeah, 7/26.
for
Is that the
a,
one?
for a
Let
spring,
me see here.
for a winter bid and a spring start.
It could have been, yeah.
Thank you. No, I was just worried.
I will miss it, yeah.
found something on the computer.
So again, I wasn't here last month,
But pre-retirement.
they've given that to us.
They gave it to us, we looked, we had a heads up the meeting
Right.
before,
No, there was another.
Brian wasn't
file with their
available,
right.
proposal, But this
So we-
was,
got word to
That
him
was the
that we
background.
need the proposal.
We
Needed
got
help.
the word.
So we can vote on this.
Right now.
We have
Right
the
now.
authority to vote on this right now.
Right.
And then we're off to the races. I'll just let everybody take a look at it before. Look at it with a good eye, Tom.
The other eye.
Yeah, right.
Rocco will send you some smoke signals.
You got it.
All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept, or we ask, got the proposal, so what's the procedure now?
We would put that into a contract agreement.
Okay.
So
One contract agreement, or you want to do two separate ones? one
Well,
for the town
whether
hall,
you
one
want it
for the-
through
the
bidding,
library?
or whether you want it isolated for project. or
Gotta
one
go to the
project.
council.
yes,
We
it
need
does.
funding,
Right,
Yeah,
just need an award.
right.
So I think we'll make the
one.
recommendation here is to forward the proposal to town council for approval of moving forward with the design.
Or what he said.
Accept the proposal, just. in
Recommend to the town council for
Funding.
For funding,
Right.
of the proposal,
correct.
not through bidding, is anything? coming
no,
out?
no.
It'll be a bid waiver
It'll-
request.
yeah.
And I can.
We
support
are
that.
on your on-call service.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
I'm still a bit waiver.
Now let's run it
Because of
back
the
to
dollar
council though for approval.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it has to go.
It
Yeah.
will, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it should still go through the council anyway.
It's gonna make
Yeah.
life easier.
It'll be
Yep.
cleaner. And then also Doug will have the money to, retain you for other services, which I'm sure he's gonna need before the end of the
Right,
fiscal
you
year.
don't want to use up.
Yeah.
So Bovee was the motion, who's the second?
No, Don.
Don was the motion.
Don was the motion.
I'll second. Give you a
Mark second.
Oh,
You're having a tough night, Lise.
It's at 3:00, that's why.
You know, it's after 8, she turns into a pumpkin.
Is that does that include the construction admin portion of it, or is that just the design?
I do the design only,
Okay, design only.
You bet.
design and bidding.
Got it. Well, yeah, bidding has to be there. Bidding up to award almost, right?
Yeah.
Mike, why don't you keep this and to write the minutes if you need to get more technical.
Got
You
it.
can use all of the language that's in there.
Understood.
How's that?
That's a good suggestion.
Now, if you want to go,
Now
Brian.
can I go?
Thank you, Brian.
Got enough
Thanks a lot
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
for all your help.
2 projects. And no question, 3 pieces of paper.
I'll have more handouts later.
Thanks.
Thank you, thank you.
Excellent.
Mike, you have this too?
I have.
Okay.
I have 2 copies actually.
All right, good.
Next order of business.
Board of Education.
Okay. Patrick can't make it, so he sent us a nice narrative, which you guys probably got, but I can run through it quick. Allstate is pretty much complete in the classrooms, except for the punch list items which he lists here, which are kind of minor: backsplashes, rubber coving, base, 1 mechanical enclosure they didn't put in, some gaps, touch-ups, and 1 section of ceiling wall angle. The remaining work is, I guess, just specific to the mechanical room and at the chiller enclosure. At the job meeting, it does look like there's a possibility that commissioning won't be able to happen until next spring unless the weather's super warm, because they're talking about October when the chiller startup is actually going to be ready to go.
Needs a load.
And CES said they won't be able to put a full load in
Well, they
fall
said that
conditions.
way back when,
Yeah,
timing
Yeah.
was probably.
so he has that down at the bottom, that the commissioning may have to he says likely, so to the spring because of where we are. And I think that second chiller delayed everything.
Yeah.
Not coming, it was supposed to be here in July and it just kept getting bump. 1 chiller was already, at the riggers, but they're waiting for that second chiller. So it sounds like they're gonna be doing the water treatment, starting up the chilled water pumps. Actually, that was tomorrow. Building controls will be completed next week. They're gonna fill the glycol the week of the 23rd. Actually start the start the chillers the end of September into October. Balancing, which I think takes 2 weeks. I was surprised about. I didn't know that it took so long, or a week maybe. And then they're going to be doing the outside asphalt prep, new asphalt, the end of September, and final cleaning around the enclosure in the first week of October. So they're going to be doing a lot of stuff around the chiller enclosure and in it and around the mechanical room for the next, 3-4 weeks.
Any blowback? There's a new principal there apparently. Megan Soros did not come back. She
Yeah.
medically,
She left at the end of last year.
she left.
It was rather sudden. So I don't know the background on any of that stuff. All I know is it was a new
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, he was an
He
interim
was there,
last
yeah,
year.
he was
I
there
heard
last
he
year.
was out on medical leave.
I know,
I
nice
had
guy.
no idea.
Yeah, he's pretty much, I think, in the loop on everything right
Yeah.
now.
So, okay, that's what I pointed.
Yeah,
out.
he's been through the mix
He's
of
been
it, yeah.
through, he was able to go to a couple of meetings last year, but sometimes,
Well, they check in with him. Patrick always checks in with the principal almost after every job meeting.
I just wondered how, not tough, but she was very rigid, so
Yeah.
to say. I wondered how he was as an interim, but now he's the full-time principal.
I haven't heard any significant objections, and
Okay.
Ashley from downstairs as well
Right,
is kind of taking over the operation. So she was dealing with the custodian, scheduling, the waxing of the floors, which
Right,
ones were
right.
going in, and the guys that knew they had to protect the floors and the ones that got waxed and they had to go work in. So I think Russ from ASC, and Ashley and Patrick have been working closely together for all this classroom, the in-classroom work, which largely has been
done.
Yeah, the painting and everything else. So they're at the punch list level right now. Kind of disappointing that they can't finish the commissioning, I guess, until.
Well, we knew that though, right from the get-go, that the timing was such that.
But we
we
get
a
enough
full
hot
load.
days. If we get lucky.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never
You
know.
never know. I even
How long do they think it'll take
Hey, it's 83 to
to
support.
do what?
commission?
I think
week?
it's going to be a tough couple of days.
So if they get a
Yeah.
They got
warm fall, they
Indian
could do it
summer or
maybe.
something like
Yeah.
that.
So,
You never
but
know.
I guess, and so, if Allstate puts a little push on, I asked at a job meeting, because I don't know any of this stuff, this isn't, I said, is there any way you can kind of overlap some of these things and not have to go sequentially to gain a couple of days here and there? And they said they'd take a look at it, but it didn't sound like that was a proper.
No,
way
it's
to-
a sequential
Yeah.
operation.
And on the water treatment, that's just to clean the pipes out, adjust the pH, make sure there's no biologicals in there, and
Correct,
they just got to keep running it until it gets to a certain spec.
correct.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. It's the water chemistry and it's driven by, who
Yeah.
do they have out there, Nelco or someone like that?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I think that sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
They probably have them out there, so you gotta get it to meet their spec.
So, and I think they were going to use the existing pumps, the pumps that were put in, and not bring outside pumps to accelerate this. There was a question about that in the meeting. They said no. So there won't be any additional noise from an outside pump coming in or whatever. So, so that's where things stand.
Okay.
That's Willard. Griswold and Hubbard are under design updates right now by CES and Fryer. They actually had a meeting yesterday, day before, on the outside where the outside chillers were going to go. I couldn't make it. It was yesterday. I was double booked. So Fryer was out there, and I think Doug, were you out there with them?
I wasn't able to make it, Mike, but I saw Ashley today and she joined them and said everything went well.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. And I'm just curious about the YMCA thing. Does that have to get bumped or replaced?
Yeah, we met this morning, so that's going to get relocated.
Okay.
The only impact is I think a new swing set. There's going to be some costs associated with that, but the Board of Ed's
Right.
working that out with the Y and all that. So
Okay. All right. All right. So that's working out.
That's
Yeah,
the best spot for it.
apparently. Yeah. So they're gonna
That's
big bump of the
only
kids.
spot for it.
Well, unless you want to
Well,
jack
go
the
down
price
the
up,
hill,
you
yeah.
know.
What
And you,
what are we looking at for the completion of design? Now, do we have any idea?
I'm gonna have to check with them now that they've gone out. And but I know you wanted early September, so I did relay that to them and asked to do the best they can, and they're actively working on it. So I'll find out, get an estimated date for them.
Again,
Oh,
it's
we're
just
2 days away from early September.
I know that. That's why I was laughing. He wanted early September. Well, it took. I didn't actually point out that I had to go to council to get approval to get the POs, which because I'm like, oh yeah, I think we can get that going, and then I realized that lag we had to get council approval, so there was probably a week and a half lag. So anyway, so
Because all we're looking at is bid
yeah,
time.
right. It'll be done by the end of the month.
Bid time, ordering equipment, there's just a lot to it.
Right.
Or we'll miss all next year.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So
Same problem we had Willard.
and they're all aware of that, the lead times on these big chunky items. So, all right, I'll get an estimated time of bid package.
One of those emails.
Sorry?
You can have one of those emails. To it.
So,
All right, then we have, you all set?
yeah, and there'll be more to come on that because once they get closer, we're gonna have, in addition to the bid package for the contractor, we're gonna have to bid out construction administration and commissioning. So it's
It's gonna be the full nut.
yeah, it is. All those professionals will have to submit bids. So that'll be more work on our end to do RFPs. I guess combined RFQ, RFPs.
Yep.
So we'll get a qualification package as well as their number. So that'll be on the agenda. So, but right now they got to get the design updates. And Newfield, as I said, is going to put the package together like they did for Willard for both schools.
Okay.
Under their existing contract, which is very gracious.
But they're gonna have to bid it under,
Also, the CMA
Yeah.
will have to be bidding out too, so we have mechanical, architectural, which will include the civil, CNA, and then the actual contractor package and commissioning. So I have a lot flurry of things going out when we get closer. That's it.
All right, well, we don't want you to slough off.
You want to
work
keep me
hard.
busy?
All right, we have 3 invoices then. First is for Newfield Construction Group, and it's their normal monthly invoice of $20,388.50.
Make a motion, we pay.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody
I
opposed?
abstain.
Okay, Rocco,
Got it.
abstained.
One abstention.
And I have a,
Yeah, it was
You
approved.
have 2 from Allstate, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they missed the last
Yep.
deadline, so.
there
There you
What's wrong?
we have a payment applications 13 and 14 from Allstate. 13 is in the amount of $120,246.25, leaving a balance to finish of $835,403.
Make a motion, we pay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. And then payment number 14. Can't see.
What do you got there?
$263,838.75, leaving a balance to finish of $571,564.68. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. And then Fryer Architecture. Invoice from Fryer for, there's 2 or 1.
It's just
Just
2 pages.
2 pages,
and
one. Fryer invoice is $420 even.
Make a motion, we pay.
Second? John?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's done. And move on to the high school slab and moisture agreement.
Well, I think Doug's been beating the bushes to get the information from either Gilbane or someone.
It's FIP that we gotta
FIP?
get the information from.
And I think, Doug, you got something, yeah, I'll let Doug chime in.
Hey, Don, yes, Gilbane, we have a call into them because everybody's retired, so they're gonna dig through their files. I did speak with Alan Cox via email.
So
Alan
I
Cox,
did
FIP, he's gonna dig it up because it's buried in their archives along with the architect Dave's gonna send it from their file. So we got a few things, but certainly if you have any resources at Gilbane, that'd be great.
Yeah, I talked to the guy at Gilbane, Eric, that runs the Connecticut office, and he said to call FIP because they don't have anyone left.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
yeah.
It's-
But Alan did say that they could dig it up, and but the problem is we got the phase 1 CDs for all the O&Ms and submittals, but I don't know where phase 2 is. So the reason we went with the paper approach initially was just to get John something, but hopefully have that in the next week or so and can get that to John shortly.
Thank you. I know that's a lot of work, Doug. Thank you.
Just so
Yeah,
I'm hearing.
it's something we've been chasing for years, and we were trying to get everything electronic just to have it at one central location because it's been scattered the way the project happened and when I came into it. And so it'd be nice. We've been trying to centralize this for a long time, so it'll be great to have all this.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so I was gonna say, even if there's a cost associated with getting that, let's get it all.
it's worth it.
If they keep it electronic, you may be able to get access to, I think it's Procore. And let's buy a seat in Procore for the town, and then you don't have to transfer anything.
Just keep it.
You just keep the Procore seat, and then you can go in there anytime you want.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
gonna
the
be
cheapest-
nice. We'll have a nice CD and flash drive, and we can put it on the public drive too. So it'll be, when we're all long gone, it'll be saved on town records also. And I had a bunch of submittals as a project went on where things that came up, but it's just our capacity at the time, we just never got the whole package in the end, and I don't know where everything is. So
Okay.
Anything else on the moisture? It's still there. Board of Ed, McGee Middle School Science Update. I guess that's,
Well, that's in the Board of Ed's court right now, and I don't know what they're doing. I know Doug said they were going out for bid for a conceptual
I
design
saw that
/ statement
somewhere,
of need,
yeah.
I think, so.
Yeah, nothing to report, just still that kind of got pushed to the side, so that'll little by little get out to the street eventually for, as we were directed to do.
well, my understanding is that Ashley's taking a more active role in this now that Jeff Cookno's no longer there. So we may get some better information. I don't
Jeff
know.
retired?
I don't know if he retired or was retired, but he's not there, apparently. But Ashley's very competent, so. Town hall we did. High school track.
I think we're waiting for a statement of need from Parks and Recreation
Right.
/ Public Grounds.
Okay.
So that's, I
Yeah,
haven't
you
seen
guys
it.
did a good job last meeting, letting them know what they needed to do, so. It'll be at least another month before we get anything.
Right.
I think it'll be 2 months, but. So is that on the, oh no, bridges, same ditto?
Yep.
Same thing, different
And-
people, but same,
And my question actually is, do you want us to split these two items out of the separate? I
Yes.
think that we should, because you
Yes.
said, actually, you pointed out the bunkers will go faster than the bridges.
absolutely.
So on the next agenda item, we'll have each as a separate project, even
It's
though.
different people doing
One
it.
A,
Yeah, it is. It's almost like two different.
I know I looked on the websites and there were a few architects that listed Timberland as one of their clients.
Oh,
So those guys have used other golf course architects before, but in talking with Jim Norton, I think there's some pushback on using an architect at all. So it's gonna be interesting to see how
is
this.
he gonna operate a D8? No.
He's not gonna do it. He's in favor of getting an architect. It's not him that's.
Oh, it's not him?
Oh,
Okay,
it's
well,
not him.
because he's a golfer. I mean,
Right, it's not him.
Yes, okay.
but they're good.
Well, I tell you
Someone to
what.
put a spec together for the bunkers.
Right.
And
But-
forgetting the
but-
bridge.
Right, but what is the right bunker to use?
Well,
Well,
that's the decision they have to make, right?
Well, they gotta understand it too, other than just hearsay.
That's why
And
it's
that's,
over there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just come to us.
Yeah.
We'll
Right.
help you work through the issues, but you gotta figure out
Sign
what you want.
offline and then come
He
back
hasn't
and
been
say.
outside
you know,
when I walked by lately, so it's been pretty.
He
good.
wants grass bunkers, people want sand bunkers.
Oh,
That's-
there's
There you go.
okay.
But you still need an architect.
You're gonna have
Either
to,
way,
you're gonna have
yeah.
to start
Because They
taking,
wanna change, they wanna move, they wanna shrink, they wanna enlarge. Who's,
And there's golf course architects. That's what they
Yeah,
specialize.
that's all they
in.
do.
Yeah,
And let them do
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly.
And they'll sit with them and they'll explain all the options, then why they should do this, why they should do that. That's why you hire them.
Right.
A spec in 30 minutes.
You
They
would?
can- They can give them.
Oh,
a spec in
yeah.
30
Oh,
minutes.
sure they can.
So the bridges, let's just talk just very briefly about that. That's gonna need, an engineer to
Yes.
design
Yeah.
so
to
there's a
design the
collapse.
bridges. So we gotta get out to bid for that. Was there a statement of need put in for that yet,
Some statement.
So we need a statement of need for both projects as soon as possible.
And that was
Separately.
made clear at your last meeting,
Yeah.
which I wasn't at, but I did listen to it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you
Was it-
explained to them what they needed to do the
It's a little-
process.
Yeah, it's two separate projects.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah, because the bridges are gonna take a couple years.
Well,
Just Army Corps permitting
Just as I say,
alone
just
right.
can hold you for
Yeah.
months.
And they're
It's not
saying, well,
happening.
we don't have to grant permits.
Well, you know about Army Corps permits. It depends on who you get too. Sometimes you
And
get
forget
lucky.
the town.
What?
Forget the town, you
Yeah.
still got to do the state.
Right.
Army Corps is easy, it's the state's the PDS.
I disagree.
No, I have good luck with the Army Corps.
I have very good luck with the Army.
Really? Oh,
They're
I'm beginning to have better luck, but
They're
the
all
first
seasoned
couple.
veterans. The problem with the state is they're all newbies. who
Well,
come in
I know, and deep fisheries and everything else.
And they've got to make their mark.
Yeah.
And your project is the one
teach
they
them.
do.
And running into some of that, yeah.
The Army Corps, you just throw yourself at their mercy. Really. Just
Whatever
go in and
they
say,
want.
here's my problem, how do I do it?
They don't change your mind.
Well, I was in one of our projects, I was getting completely ghosted. And then the guy ended up moving to Wisconsin, getting relocated to Wisconsin, and the guy who took over was actually really good, But I had to go to the chief of the
Yeah,
New
I
England
did too.
region, Tammy. You know Tammy?
No,
She
I
helped out big time.
had to go to the federal office out of Boston.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Oh, you went
I was on a reservation.
Yeah, he knows.
Okay.
He knows.
Anyway, she's like, just get it done.
So anyway,
What else
that's,
we
yeah,
got?
so we're waiting for, statements of need from both. Actually, the track, the bumpers, and the bridges.
Yeah.
We're all-
Next
Okay. Next one is new business. Better not be any.
I don't think there is any.
Good. Old business. There better not be
I
any.
make a motion, we adjourn.
Oh,
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Rocco, what do you mean you're opposed?
Thanks, Doug, thanks,
Good night,
Rocco.
all. Good night,
See you,
everybody.
Rocco. See ya.
So what's for town projects?
Yeah.
What's, for actually, for working a floodplain, like if I'm replacing sidewalks,